disability and motivation. I talk a lot in my blog about wanting to do motivational speaking, what motivates us, why we're motivated. A long time ago, I read this quote out of a book called Search for Serenity by Lewis Klesnow. Now, the book is actually about a different subject other than the issue of disability. But to me, this first three paragraphs of this book really sums up to me what does it mean to have a disability? What does it mean to live with a disability? What is the starting point that we begin to deal with our disability and thus begin to have motivation to pursue life and be successful in life? The quote is this: no one can learn to be at home in his own heaven until he has learned to be at home in his own hell. The full appreciation of inner serenity is achieved only by those who have been forced to face their own inner weaknesses, their limitations, and the possibility of their own inner failures. The bedrock of enduring serenity is found at that point where one realizes his own limitations, that point where one finds it necessary to choose between life and death, between the will to live and the surrender to hopelessness. He must then decide whether to continue along the road that egocentric self-sufficiency and die, or whether he will make an effort to achieve self-understanding and live. You know, I've talked before in my blog about, in my life, people have said, you know, Charlie, you have overcome your disability. You know, it's amazing how you've overcome. And I really didn't understand what that meant for a long, long time. But finally it dawned on me one day that to overcome is to fight against. To overcome is to outmuscle. To overcome is to constantly be trying to get over, around the issue. What this quote is saying to me is that, you know, until I'm at home in my own hell, until I truly understand what it means to be disabled, to feel comfortable with that issue, I can't go forward in life and create my own heaven. I cannot go forward in my own life and create possibilities. I cannot be motivated to do something greater than just going on with life. And I've talked about this a lot also, that there's a tendency to want to just go ahead with life, go on with life. But again, to go on with life is to overcome. This quote from me, you know, whether you are born with a disability, or whether you become disabled in an accident, or whether you're just getting older and your body is changing and you're having limitations that maybe you haven't had before, but all of us have to choose. When we're confronted with adversity in life, when we're confronted with difficult choices, we have to decide how we're going to react. You know, so often in working with disabled individuals and in my own life, you know, this need to ask for help has always been a difficult struggle. You know, what motivates me? You know, motivation comes from all different sources and for all different reasons. But there's a motivation to do what I can do, but there's also a need to ask for help at times. And the separation of being able to ask for help and doing what I can do, I think is a big issue for all of us with disabilities. So often, I think when we ask for help, it comes across as demanding. We're demanding, can you do this? Will you do this? It's not, this is what I need. This is not, it doesn't come across as, this is what I need, and from this point on, I can do it myself. I think there's a real tendency to get lost in what do I need help and what is my responsibility? You know, asking for help is difficult for most of us. Either we ask for too much, or we ask for help that in areas that we really don't need help in, because this issue of learning to be at home in our own hell, as this quote says, you know, learning to be at home with our disability, clearly understanding the disability in terms of this is what I need help with, you know, because sometimes we ask for help in the areas that we don't need it because we're afraid to ask for the help where we clearly need it. Because if we ask for the help where we clearly need it, we are identifying our limitations. And our limitations can frustrate us, they can anger us, they can keep us from getting motivation to learn how to deal with our limitations. You know, this ability to achieve self-understanding is the separation of what I can do and what I can't do, what I will be able to do versus what maybe I'll never be able to do. It is the, you know, motivation is an interesting topic because, you know, for me, what has motivated me so much of my life has been several things that I would today not consider positive. I think anger has motivated me to do a lot of things in my life. And at the time, it wasn't necessarily a bad motivator. I think fear has motivated me to do things in life. But I wouldn't always consider that a good motivator. The other day I was thinking about motivation and disabilities and motivation in general. And what came to me was, you know, at some point in time, the bottom line in motivation is responsibility. And this has never really occurred to me. But if you get motivated, to get motivated means that you're probably going to do something. If you do something, then you're going to take an action. And if you take an action, you're going to have to become responsible for that action. And, you know, I think a lot of times we don't get motivated because we're not willing to take responsibility for what might occur with that motivation. I think a lot of times we don't push ourselves to do all that we can do because if I do it once, I'll be expected to do it again. If I learn to do something that is taking something maybe that I couldn't do before, and people notice that, then when I ask for help, they're going to say, no, you can do it yourself. And if you go out and get a job, then you're going to have to become responsible, and you're going to always have to work. You're going to always have to take care of yourself. So I think when you combine the issue of disability and motivation, I think there might be a tendency both on the disabled individual and the non-disabled individual to maybe not do all that you can do. And there might be a tendency on the non-disabled individual to not push the disabled individual, because I think there's a tendency for people to want to help other people and to feel needed. So the issue of disability and motivation is a very complex issue.